With that, I would now like to move on to our next session, which is a panel discussion on the topic Citizen Centric Service. Let's workflow it. I would now once again invite Mohammad Ujale, Senior Assistant Editor, ET Government, for moderating this session. Over to you, Ujale.
Hello and welcome to ET Government National Workflow Summit. In this special discussion focused on citizen-centric service, let's workflow it. We will explore the potential of integrated technology for improving public sector organization workflow and ultimately a delightful public service delivery experience for the citizen. To lead the discussion today, I'm joined by Mr. Kumar Vineet, Managing Director, UPDESCO and Special Secretary IT, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Amit Sharma, CEO, JaKeGA, Ms. Kabita Roy Das, DDG and SIO, NIC, Odisha, Mr. Akhilesh Mittal, Additional Director IT, Department of IT, Government of Rajasthan, Dr. Abhishek Roy, Head SeMT, Department of Personnel and Administrative Reforms, eGov, Government of West Bengal, Mr. Venugopal, Arcot, Senior Director, Solution Consulting at ServiceNow, India. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. Let me begin with Mr. Kumar Vineet. Sir, what we have observed during the pandemic, that integrated technology platform proves to be a great enabler during the pandemic. I mean, most of the government organization which had some level of technology and those were integrated, they were able to provide citizen services, they were able to provide emergency services on the go. Would you like to share, based on your experience, how did you use technology during the pandemic?
Yeah, thank you so much for making me a part of this esteemed discussion panel. Yes, integration of technology has been very important to deal with the pandemic. As we have seen in Uttar Pradesh, in the present pandemic situation that we have been through, medical health services, transport, health education, as well as law and order, this all had to be integrated on one platform. And the tool of mechanism of the platform of the entire connectivity process was when we had the person who had a 2G or a 3G simple mobile without any internet platform. On the other side, we had a highly technical platform through which we had to interact with. We had people we have to connect through telephone as well. So the entire process of pandemic was connected on three parts. One was at the state level, we had a very intense mechanized platform of e-governance through CM helpline, Mani Mukhyamantri helpline. Through this platform, we have integrated the entire process through our integrated grievance redressal system. Now, just not the use of technology on one part, that we have to say everything and have to do that part. Secondly, we have to connect to the citizen as well. So we made telephone calls, we made online calls, we integrated it into our integrated governance redressal system, grievance redressal system. We translated it to the department to look into the issues that were coming up, issues which were to be taken up immediately, or issues which had to be taken up, say, in 24 hours, or issues which were policy issues which have to be taken up as well. Maybe issues like I need oxygen, maybe issues like I need hospitalization or transportation facility, or there is a law and order issue because of oxygen supply, whatever. So entire issue were taken up in a pandemic on this platform as well. Not restricting to this particular aspect, the technology or tech savvy citizen who was more tech savvy and who wanted to use mobile app or anything, they developed mobile app as well. For example, finding a COVID center nearby. For example, finding a sampling center nearby, and what can be the timings, what can be the opening or closing time, and what should be the keyword that was also integrated through this platform, and we had done it beautifully in our pandemic process. So that was health, transportation, movement of buses, influx of buses, how many buses are coming, what can be the law and order situation, what are the train timings, what can be the law and order situation. The entire integration was there through a platform of system that was functioning in Lucknow, and then it had its tentacles in each and every district in through a command center, a coordinated command center, where physically people were sitting over there managing the 24 by 7 hotlines through which citizen could interact and we could interact with the citizen. So it was a two-way process in which we have used technology to get into.
Mr. Kumar, Vineet saying that they had an integrated platform in Lucknow, and because of that, they were able to actually provide different kind of services across the state. Would you like to share, based on your experience in Delhi, as to how uh, uh, you use technology during pandemic and what kind of learning you had?
Delhi was no different from any other state. Delhi was suffering from same pain which everybody was having there. So as long as the data is concerned, as long as the information is concerned, that was more critical for Delhi to ensure that the information is only from one source. What was happening during this pandemic time? Everybody was giving information, and there were many sources of information which was coming to us. So, very first learning was that the source of information should be one. That was the most important. And second, the information should be structured, and there should be minimum repetition if there is a duplicate and there is something, so that we can more focus on that. Second, most important thing was availability of the infrastructure, like ambulances, like doctors, beds, hospitals. They should be available based on the data. Single truth of data should be very important in that. And that was the experience we had here. We have set up applications. There were many applications we had developed initially. Then we realized there are so many applications. Doctors are filling their information separately. That our district administration is giving information separately, and the same patient we are having many set of information. Now what we did, ultimately there was one source of information, filtered information. We have data of each and every patient in Delhi. Whatever whenever there is a positive report comes from patient, that information is available in Delhi. We now, for the third wave, which is probable, if it's not coming, it's very fine, very relaxing. If it comes, then we are using technology is our main source of empowerment. That
Right,
technology
right,
will help us in getting the data, single source data.
right,
We are using sensors for the oxygen. Now we are having telemetrics with us. We are just having our bid is to be opened, where we will have sensors to measure the availability of the oxygen availability with us. No,
right,
so
right, right.
that is very important. Second, linking all information into one portal. So delhifightscorona.com, I will give a demo if I got time, where we will
Right.
put all information at one place, so that all the decision makers are having single source of data and they are able to make
Right.
decisions. And last thing I will tell about the beds availability. Last time,
Right.
the availability of beds was very critical. Because people were not knowing where's the bed available, where's not
Mhm.
bed available. Now, this time, uh, all beds availability will be on real-time position. When I say real-time,
Right.
sensors over there, but we are training our
Right.
people that as soon as some admission is take place, it is a -1. Somebody leaves, +1. So
Right.
public will be able to see the availability of beds, oxygen on a real-time basis. That's the basic idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll come back to you again. I'll move to Mr. Amit Sharma, CEO of JaKeGA. Mr. Sharma, you heard Mr. Chaubey saying that integrated platform is absolutely fine, but behind that you have to take decision, and for that you need a single source of data. For one particular thing, if data is coming from 5 different sources, and if you do not have a platform to integrate at one point, at one location, possibly there could be diverse view. Since you had an organization, JaKeGA, whose prime job is to proliferate e-governance services across Jammu and Kashmir, I would like to understand from you as to how you use technology and what is your view on having a single source of truth for a public sector organization to take a policy decision. Mr. Sharma.
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for inviting me to this very good debate and discussion going on at the national level. That is pertaining to the data, and like as you all know, we all are contributors while doing this kind of work. But here I would like to highlight a couple of things while talking about data integration and taking it from different sources like workflow. What is the basic idea behind this workflow summit? So I believe in JK also, like all other UTs and states, we have a lot of data flowing from different sources, and that data requires to be replicated and produced on a real-time basis when we are from the government, like a top government, premier government agency, which is handling data, which is actually organizing these tools, organizing all these kinds of integration activities. So we have a major role to play. And in this context, I can just share that day before yesterday, we got one important thing launched by our Honorable Lieutenant Governor, which is basically COVID dashboard. Because talk is about the COVID at this point of time, we are flowing in that. So let me share one particular thing. Data is flowing from different sources, especially National Health Mission. NHM data comes to the COVID dashboard, and that gives the real time situation about how things are, what is the status of you see recovery, what is the status of daily cases, district wise, the availability of all kinds of there are different tools which are integrated in it, and it actually gives you a real time perspective of how things are flowing, and but bed availability, everything, every single thing. But here I would like to say one important thing which was lacking previously and we have done recently about all this is launch of some good services. Like we have come with a novel project which is obviously a dream of e-governance activities wherever you are carrying on. That is DVC, Digital Village Center model. That is in every panchayat we have taken MPLS technology. What we are doing, that's a very noble idea. Every gram panchayat is being linked through MPLS technology, and for that matter, first phase we got inaugurated again day before yesterday by Honorable LG. That is 44 panchayats were live with us, and at the click of a button we launched that. That is, technology has gone to the grassroots level where it was missing earlier. And let me tell you, the topography of Jammu and Kashmir is different from many other parts of the nation. Where things are in the plain areas, it's easy to take the technology. Here we had to use not only fiber but even radio towers to take the technology to those places, and we have successfully implemented it. That is, people sitting at the panchayats, villagers sitting in the panchayat can directly interact with people sitting in the secretariat. So technology should go that way. And they had a question, not only those people but even the top ups. They said, what next? I said, next is we can take banking also through MPLS technology. That is, people sitting there, we can tell the premier bank, like J&K Bank is a premier bank here, we can tell them to get associated with us, become a part, and then we can do banking activity using this MPLS technology at the village level where banks are missing. Banks and health services are very important to Jale. We all know it. They are the lifelines. So these kinds of integrations should happen, and they should be available to everybody on a real-time basis. And my major target is to take it through CSC model in a very finest possible manner to every person sitting at the last mile. Last mile user should get the usage of this technology and not these smartphones. I am just talking about they can use basic simple that button wala phone to take technology to those places using USSD technology through just those helpline 1, 2, 3, 4 and the services. So this is what we are doing. And after my incoming here as CEO of this premier e-governance agency, I would like it to take forward like this.
Right. I'll come back to you, Mr. Sharma, again. I'll move to Ms. Kabita Roy Das. Ma'am, NIC has been one of the torch bearer of taking e-governance services to across different states. In Odisha, lot of application, lot of thing has happened, lot of work has been done in Odisha, especially when it comes to the IT. Reason being the NIC is very active. Also, their IT department and ROCAC happens to be quite active on a same line. Would you like to share based on your experience as to how technology came as a handy to you during the pandemic while the state was trying to mitigate the new challenge?
Odisha is one of the very progressive state to utilize IT in its major services delivery. And as NIC, we are being partner to IT department also and the state government of Odisha to help them uh, uh, give the e-solution for the service delivery system. And during pandemic, actually, there are a lot of services that we had to deliver in a very short time. And we are lucky that NIC has already developed a framework which is a very workflow. Actually, we can make it a workflow automation system, and its name is Service Plus. You already have, I think, heard about it. This actually, what is it? This is a low-code or no-code based workflow automation system, and it is very much efficient to configure a service without a code development, and we can configure the service in a month or in a week also, and integrate all the payment integration system. Then it can have the API integration, then it can have the SMS integration. Everything is already inbuilt in the framework. And this has helped us a lot. And already 64 services from 11 departments of Odisha has been configured with this service delivery system, and this configured with a Service Plus. And we are generating around 2.55 crores, 2.55 crores of revenue, and also around 46 lakhs of application has been received, and around 42 lakhs has been already processed, and the rest is under the process. And about Service Plus, actually, if we want to give, we are given an opportunity to explain what is actually Service Plus. It is a low-code or no-code framework designed to enable service by using a generic, configurable, and unified metadata-based open-source multi-tenancy framework, which can be used by each tenant. That it can be a department, it can be a local government, and to configure their services as per their requirement, and ensure the highest degrees of scalability, which already all the panelists is asking for, the scalability, reliability, and flexibility. It can generate all this. And it is a powerful foundation empowering the citizen on their most important need, namely to know their eligibility for various services offered by the government, thus helping government improve citizen services and fulfill the needs of growing communities. And this Plus platform includes all shared technologies and functionalities within the software as a service environment to meet the varying needs of government agencies, from large states to small departments. It's an intuitive interface for application submission and processing for all stakeholders has made Service Plus a user-friendly and acceptable software across government departments. During this pandemic situation, we need to deliver some important services in a very short time, and Service Plus helped us very efficiently. And it is one of the applications developed as a part of Panchayat Enterprise Suite from the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India, and under e-Panchayat Mission Mode project, and it has it has been actually rolled out in 31 states, and already most of the states are doing the e-district project under this Service Plus platform. And it's a very powerful inbuilt tools, enable rapid design, and it is a very easy to configure it, and security compliant. Already it is security enabled and rolled out of services. It has inbuilt features like a form designer, then document designer, then it has notification designer, then action based on trigger points to send a different notification for different extension. Then it has the payment gateway integration such as PayGov, SBI ePay, PayU, CSC, eWallet, OnePay, BillDex, Treasury, etc. Then PFMS integration with for DBT payments. Then it has integrated with Aadhaar, eSign, digital DigiLocker, etc.
Right.
Yeah, facility to integrate with
Right.
any. Yes, yes. So
Right. I'll come back to you again. I think it is one of the very good example of
very
workflow
good.
management, workflow application in the government. So now I'll move to Dr. Abhishek Roy. Dr. Roy, uh, when it comes to the West Bengal, I know you started chatbot, you started WhatsApp, you started a lot of different things which other state could not do it. Even those things were not even available in the central government, right? Be it giving e-passes, which was started way back in the first phase itself before any other state. Uh, Even the WhatsApp, wherein you could apply for vaccination or for an e-pass, was a quite innovative services. So I believe a lot of things has happened in West Bengal during the pandemic and before that. Would you like to share your experience?
So I'll take you to 2020 pandemic. So it started as a surprise to us. No one was aware what to do. But I would like to say this mobile technology helped a lot. We have all those softwares,
Right.
applications, everything. Mobile technology was the key for everything. Initially, we started, our job was to first track and quarantine people. So we came up with an app wherein the person who were coming down to West Bengal, they're asked to download that app and we're tracking their movement. And whenever
Right.
their movement crossed 100 meters or so, an automatic outbound dialer was sent to them, a voice call to stay there. And for 2 or 3 such movements, people used to go there and tell them, and if they don't agree, they were asked to stay in a home quarantine. So we started with that. Then the crisis of PP kits and masks came. So we tried to arrange it from various other agencies and all, but our inventory system was so that it was the masks were reaching the hospitals. Hospitals were not aware. It took around 2 days to take delivery, to distribute and all those things. Then we came down with a inventory system. So it was everything was basically mobile based, and the entire vehicle was tracked the moment it is dispatched from the central medical store, so that the person at the hospital is aware even 2 hours before that the vehicle is coming. They are ready with the basic unloading and then distributing it to the doctors and all. It was very critical time during those days. Then came the issue of this the e-pass and all for movement. Everyone was worried. So we initially launched one e-pass on the bot. And then the biggest issue of this laborers came, these migrant laborers. So for the migrant laborers, I was also very skeptical that they might not have a smartphone. So we basically started one SMS-based application and one WhatsApp bot. So in SMS-based application, they're supposed to send their current location and where they want to come. Suppose someone is in Bangalore, they're supposed to either type the pin code of the place, and if they want to come to Kolkata, pin code of Kolkata's place. If they don't know the pin code, they're supposed to write the details, and then we arrange their train passes and their movement to the state. We also launched the WhatsApp bot at that point of time. We thought that WhatsApp bot will be not very popular, but to our utter surprise, 5.5 lakh people registered on the WhatsApp bot and only 55,000 people registered on the SMS. So that gave an insight that even all the laborers, everyone have a WhatsApp as of now. So many people were asking us to develop app, one for this vegetable movement, then this paddy collection from the villagers. Farmers were dying because they're able to sell their paddy. So sir, everyone came with an idea to develop an app. So instead of app, we basically opted for a WhatsApp bot, because WhatsApp is installed in everyone's mobile as of now. If they have a smartphone, app, how many apps someone will download? It's very difficult to download every time an app. And in the app, the issue is that whenever there's an update, you need to again update. It will not get the earlier this functionalities. So that's why we
Right.
focused on WhatsApp bot. So in
Yes.
this year's pandemic, we launched 2 WhatsApp bots, one for integrated COVID management system. So ICMS basically particular deals with bed availability. Not only bed availability, there we had an option to request for bed. So if you are COVID positive and if you want a government bed in a government hospital, you can request for the bed through the WhatsApp itself. Parallelly, we launched the app also, but the difficulty in app is that initially we started with only the bed availability and other things, but slowly the oxygen crisis came, other things came. So we kept on giving new versions of the app. So there are 5 versions of the app, and the person who has downloaded the first version, and if he has not updated it, he will not get the other oxygen facilities or other facilities. But it is possible in my bot. In WhatsApp bot, you are not nothing, no update is required. Everything is available. The moment we are pushing it, it's available there. So that was also very
Right.
big, and that was we for bed availability, oxygen, everything. We had 3 modes: one portal, one WhatsApp bot, and one app. And people were
Right.
easily requesting for the beds. And then came this vaccine bot is such a successful bot. 1.5 crore hits have been registered in this vaccine bot. What started this COVID portal is a very good portal, but everyone is unable to register there. So then they
Right.
started queuing in front of the vaccination centers from the dawn. From 4 a.m., these people started queuing in the vaccination centers to take a token. Then they're supposed to come again at 10 a.m. and then the queue will start. The entire day is wasted. And the biggest issue, we are the social distancing is being hampered to get a token for this. So then we came down with this WhatsApp bot, and with the WhatsApp bot, actually the waiting time has been reduced to 0. Only this 30 minutes waiting time for this AFS guidelines is there. Otherwise, we are giving them, we're allocating them a time. And initially, when we launched, many people came right in the morning. They started coming from 8 a.m. only. We clearly told will not allow them. Whatever time has been allocated to you, only 15 minutes prior to that, you will be allowed. You come, so and take your vaccination and then go away. It has become,
Right.
in Kolkata, it has become a big success. And then it has been now rolled out to the entire state. Now, all the states are doing this WhatsApp bot-based vaccination. Apart from the COVID is still there, but we've kept both the modes, and this
Right.
WhatsApp has been a very big success.
Right. I'll come back to you, Mr. Roy, again. Now I'll go again to Mr. Akhilesh Mittal. Mr. Mittal, what I was trying to ask you earlier, that during the pandemic, various government organizations tried to use technology, whatever they had. Some of them actually repurposed their existing IT infrastructure to provide emergency services. Would you like to share, based on your experience, as to how the government of Rajasthan used technology and how actually it came handy to you?
Now, see, in Rajasthan, especially, we have started this journey from 1987 of IT started, but from 2005 onwards, we actually started building the infra. Uh, from ARS1 project, Rajasthan statewide area network, and that is being again taken by the state government of India, given funding and also. Then we have then it is goes to down the line. So first we have built the concept of called infra creation, IT infra creation, and that is a success of it because right now we have around. More than 350 panchayat smitis being connected through video conferencing, and we have around 11,341 eMitra plus machines which are directly connected to the gram panchayat level, and that can be hold through VC, and the honorable CM usually talk to the government people along with the panchayat peoples like sarpanch and other directly through this VC, and that is an advantage during pandemic. It's a great advantage to us. And secondly, we have more than 300 department applications are integrated in a one platform called single sign-on SSO. So that's again key success of Rajasthan for addressing the issues during pandemic. Beside that, we have 181 grievance redressal system is implemented in Rajasthan in big way, and it is being very successful these days in pandemic to address all kind of citizen-centric issues, and addressing the e-passes during first phase of COVID-19, and in second phase, oxygen management, hospital bed management, and medicine management being held through this system. We have a single portal of COVID info dot Rajasthan
Right.
.in that is a will give it's give us a great help to address all kind of issues, especially the
Right.
VC setups at panchayat level and nagar palikas. The addressing the local people and local addressing people like Vidhayak and other persons which who can then further contact to the citizen for addressing this
Right.
COVID-19 situation. So it's great help
Right.
of us. Secondly, down the line, we have at Gram Panchayat level, we have IP phone installed at all Gram Panchayates, and we have a BBNL connectivity. Solid 4 Mbps BBNL connectivity is being implemented, and more than 85% already being connected, and so we have a good network of this internet through down the line. Secondly, we have
Right.
another coming up with the block fiber. So that is also being, like in Ajmer, especially if I talk, then it is 80% completed in block level. So it is a great help
Right.
for network to be established. Infra is important key for success. That is my
Right.
mm,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll come back to you, Mr. Mittal, again. Now I'll go to Mr. Venugopal. Mr. Venugopal, you heard senior government officials sharing their views as to how they mitigated the challenge and how they used technology in a very innovative way during the pandemic, which were primarily hinged on repurposing the existing IT infrastructure that they have, and whatever integrated platform they had, they actually use it to provide the government services. Some of them actually use this moment to collect right sort of data, so that if tomorrow's there is a migrant crisis, they should be able to know who is the migrant, and accordingly they are able to frame the policy, right? Since ServiceNow, your organization is working on a very high end of robotic process automation, and you work with across different organization, both in enterprise and public sector. Would you like to share, based on your experience and based on the experience of some of your customers' journeys, as to how they use technology, what have been your learning for you?
Thank you very much, Ujjwalaji. And it is indeed humbling to be part of this elite panel. You are serving this nation, serving every citizen. I'm part of that citizen who's taking the service. It is really humbling. Thank you very much. As they say, the city never sleeps. The country never slept during this particular pandemic situation. And everybody had a role to play. And you made that work. Again, it is from my bottom of my heart, thank you very much. As a technologist, we had an important role to play as well. And during this conversation, we heard so many of you talk about reimagining business process at a faster pace. You talked about connected systems, talked about data, information, and we talked about mobility and other emerging technologies being brought in terms of making it. And this typically happens when such and situational adaptability is need of the hour, right? And it was necessary at that point of a time to re-emerge and reimagine ourselves, to bring in certain changes which you've never imagined. And true to the spirit of India, that we are truly innovative, we brought in so many of the solutions that you are. Probably these are the hidden secrets that you have done, but eventually these are amazing things that helped people at that point of a time. But I think at this point of a time, we need to reflect back and think. When you talked about data and data quality, it is important to note the 3 C's: the correctness of data, the completeness of the data, and the complete compliance of the data. The correctness of data is about, is the data that should be there or should not be there. Completeness is the relationship between that particular data and the service being rendered. And the compliance of the data is that which should not be there, it should not be there. So how do we determine this? And with this, you create a model called Common Services Data Model, which extends beyond the departmental, interdepartmental, but it reaches to the citizen service, and thereby citizens' experience. So this is about this. But again, this platform also should have not emerge into a sprawl of mobile sprawls, chat sprawls, because we try to create sprawls. And to manage that sprawls, it becomes another exercise to manage them, because one small change could cause a complete disaster in that. So it's important to have this kind of, so what have we done? So at ServiceNow, what we did was we work closely with the institutions, because the what of work has changed. The where of work has changed. The when of work has changed because the who of work is also changed, because the teachers are now doing where the COVID patients are there and taking a census of them, how many of them affected, are the doctors reaching them? The skills are changing. And today, last couple of days back, Modi ji also announced about how the COVID warrior training needs to be provided. How do we provide the skilling, reskilling, and it is a huge potential like nursing itself for the Indian revenue itself. There is a huge potential there. How do we manage this kind of business? Another point is about we helped in vaccine administration management. Vaccine administration management is not just about administering vaccine, it is a complete supply chain management. And any disruption in this particular entity is going to disrupt the entire supply chain. How do we make contact into contactless? How do we make audit trail out of that? How do we ensure that reporting and a command and control center is provided? These are some of the excellences. But again, thank you very much for listening to it. Itself is amazing. Looking forward to hearing more.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Venugopal. Again, I'll go to Mr. Kumar Vineet. Mr. Vineet, both Mr. Venugopal and earlier Dr. Roy was mentioning about as to how the smaller effort like creating a WhatsApp chat bot turn out to be a great medium for connecting with people during the pandemic, right? So what we have noticed that especially after the pandemic, that there has been a lot of prioritization happening within the government. Now the government organization, since they have already invested a lot of things in technology, so now there is a growing demand to make the workflow more agile and secure with the adoption of next generation technology and platform. Some of them are even moving to AI. Some of them are even experimenting with technology like AI and machine learning and all. In that light, sir, I would like to understand from you, what are the new projects that you are focusing on, wherein you see there is a huge scope of a technology to improve public service delivery?
Yeah, in sync with what Mr. Venugopal was saying, actually there is a concept in public administration of Herbert Simon, art of muddling through. The entire pandemic has been that art of muddling through. No one knew, no one of us had ever faced this situation. What can be the prediction? What can be the law and order prediction? What can be the health prediction? Nothing, because we never had any knowledge base on it. So yes, one part is what Mr. Chaubey has to say, that we have to develop our knowledge base. But the basic threshold is this COVID has changed the entire concept of governance, be it public sector, be it private sector. Now, public sector also has to deliver the services at the doorstep. So we have to come to a conclusion, we have to come to a technology which can deliver things which are of day-to-day usage, which are of day-to-day purpose. For example, if we say in a private sector, now there is a concept of work from home. Now tourism sector has changed. Now instead of going for big hotels and everything, you have a homestay and a good Wi-Fi and a good food, and a homestay is perfectly fine. Things have changed. Mr. Venugopal's person, he might be working, sitting in next to Mr. Amit in Jammu and Kashmir, and easily working for him while he's sitting in Chennai or maybe in Mumbai or whatever. So on the similar line, concept for faceless administration as we perceive has to roll out. I don't need to come out of my house or of my premises or of my area of circumference and go for the government to receive. One is, of course, many of the states are doing it, and we are getting into it in a big way. That is mini Sachivalaya at the level of Gram Panchayats. Services at the level of Gram Panchayat integrated with common service center in the mini Sachivalaya itself. Government of India is already into the national knowledge network, and the fiber optics is already there. We are speeding up with it. As of now, we have aspirational districts at the threshold. Second part is, say, urban part, where we have to deliver the services which can always be done while we are sitting at home. So one example that I would like to share is Power Corporation in Uttar Pradesh. They have come up with a chatbot technology. If you go to the website, you can easily find how to pay my bills, how to get a new connection. There is a WhatsApp group as well. Even my personal bill comes out on the WhatsApp. I can easily get a link and pay it, and it's so very easy for me, and I really feel happy that I'm part of that concept of in IT governance that builds into it. So two things. One is that in urban development, also in urban area also, we are coming up with these solutions where people don't have to move to get the services which can easily be delivered to them through their mails, through their WhatsApp, through their services. Second is in an area, in a rural area where we have cluster of mini Sachivalaya at the village level itself, where the information technology, the IoT things are going to be delivered.
Now I'll move to Mr. Santulan Chaubey. Mr. Chaubey, earlier you were mentioning about, having a system in place wherein you have a single source of truth, and based on that you are taking decision so that you are able to correctly address some of the challenges. What we notice over the last 1 or 2 years that to have a single source of truth, and if you can decipher that, you need, especially in public sector, because you have the data set of millions, you can't go wrong. If you go wrong, it will be huge. For example, if you're running a public service application where people are just going paying 10 rupees, for example, to get their birth certificate or something like that. For example, in Telangana, there is Me Seva. So, I mean, there is no scope of actually going wrong in the application. That means we have a huge sample size. What I'm trying to understand from you, that what we have observed now, people are trying to use next generation technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain, and all, to analyze the pattern, to analyze the data, and based on that, actually improving the public service delivery. Rather than people coming for the services, we as a government should be able to know that this person is entitled and the services must be delivered at his doorstep. How do you look at this concept, sir?
Well, wonderful. That was the question I was looking for. I will answer in two parts in this question. One, you said that what are the parameters where we define our input, right? A very important thing is input where there is a less or minimum human interference. What I mean to say that data entry should be automated. No, for example, I will take two example. When I created the availability of the oxygen in the oxygen tanks, right? If you leave on a data entry operator to keep on filling and giving information to the higher ones, it is bound to failure. If you have sensors, you have a built-in machine learning and intelligence built into the system, and you are getting information from a machine, from a sensor. So you rest assured that your information will be much more accurate, right? So this kind of automation we have already started, and within a few days only, they will be implemented in most of the hospitals in Delhi. This is one thing. Second, you talk about public service delivery, right? Here you said that delivering a service to a citizen, right? There is a more risk if you are not accurate. For me, my stake is that why we develop systems which are completely automated. For example, I will give you, when you issue a birth certificate, can't you use can't you give a caste certificate also? See, the entitlement is very important. There are two ways of handling entitlement. Number one, built in. You have to do lots of business processes re-engineering in that, that whatever the citizen should not apply, some entitlement should be inbuilt. For example, two example I will give you. Again, one, when you issue the birth certificate, you can always issue a caste certificate, right? That comes inbuilt. Second, the kid, as long as he or she is attaining 18 years of age, the voter ID card should come automatically. Why somebody should apply there and has less belief in the democracy? In 18 years, kid is in class 12th. All of the parameters are met. The school and our state election commission should match and give the election that voter ID card to the kid at that age. Right? Lots of business process re-engineering is required where you get the better service. Now the second part.
Right.
Second part is important, that instead of you are applying, the system should tell you that yes, you are now You are now suppose 50 years old. Now you are basically eligible for old age pension. So I will keep on filling my details. My name is this, my age is this, and on the right hand side, your entitlement of the schemes should on coming, and the system should know that where you have applied. Now there is one issue in that. The profiling of the citizens
Right.
cannot be done like this. So if you make balance of that, then see, technology is not an issue. Technology
Right.
will give you solution. Your
Right. Absolutely.
and your other security aspect should be there.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I think we need to do the right kind of profiling rather than something different. Now I'll move to Mr. Amit Sharma. Mr. Sharma, earlier you were mentioning about as to how technology is being used in Jammu and Kashmir and some of the recent project which Honorable Lieutenant Governor has inaugurated in 2 days back, where the services are now being planned to reach out to up to the Gram Panchayat level. What we have observed during the pandemic that there was some pressure on the finance of the state because you had the limited source of money coming in terms of GST, other source of revenue. So what really happens that there were a lot of prioritization happening, especially things which were related to the social security, life, those were giving more priority. In that light, I would like to understand from you what kind of new project which is really key for the state of Jammu and Kashmir that you are looking from a technology point of view to initiate. If you could share something on that.
Sure, Ujale. In fact, you are absolutely right. The whole dynamics have changed. I have been listening to all the co-panelists, the esteemed speakers, as well as all the men. Even Venugopal has talked a lot of sense. So, couple of things I want to talk out here. Like dynamics are changing, and one good example, I believe few of my co-panelists have been with me in some other virtual and other meetings also. They have been listening, but this is worth sharing an example. The pandemic has brought about some wonderful change which had never happened in almost 2 decades of my service. I was just looking in for this kind of thing even when I was not leading Jammu and Kashmir eGovernance agency, that is putting whole of the system on e-office model. That is paperless office. That is no file work whatsoever in the civil secretariat. And again, J&K has a very, very unique preposition in the whole nation. Like you all are aware that we have 2 capitals. One is summer capital and one is winter capital. Jammu is winter capital and Srinagar is summer capital. So practically what practice was happening since those Maharaja old days, pre-independence times, trucks used to ferry each single department, maybe 2 trucks ferrying 1 department files all together from Jammu to Srinagar and vice versa. Just imagine 300 kilometers of stretch. Those amongst you who have traveled on that highway know how risky that highway is. And we used to joke around this thing many a times that if one truck accidentally falls into Chenab River running across, that thing will straight away reach to Pakistan through the Chenab River and all. And forget about that, that department will be completely lost. And apart from that, see the fallouts. You see a lot of costing involved, a lot of risk involved, a lot of pollution, air pollution, trucks ferrying those things, a lot of pain areas and environmental degradation, papers, files, everything. And above all, we are talking today about citizen-centric services, how much the citizen has to go through the pain. 6 months there record, 6 months in Jammu record, 6 months in Srinagar, and the persons had to move virtually to cities to get their works done. And see today what is the scenario. I can say it with pride and honor. Jammu and Kashmir eGovernance agency has created history courtesy this pandemic. It was never happening. TCS came with the projects. I remember long back in early 2000, like 2003, 4, they were trying. And since those days, so many of experiments done, so many of hit and trials, but it never succeeded. But this time we have been able to successfully implement e-office model. Whole of the civil secretariat today, whether in Jammu and Srinagar, and let me tell you, it has completely vanished the role of physical files. Imagine thousands of files traveling daily everywhere across secretariats. See the fallout and the positive side. Secretariats are working simultaneously in Jammu as well as Srinagar. There is no need of ferrying files. Everything has been, data has been scanned, lakhs of files have been scanned, and they are now in the file form. Results you are getting overnight, even late night. People are just clicking on their, through VPN services, senior officers, they are just writing files. There is no bahana, there is no file gumna, there is nothing like, pain area has gone for the citizens. So this has been a revolutionary step. And in day before yesterday review meeting, as we said, now we have set, redefined the target for all the field offices of J&K. All will be e-filed. By the end of August, we are expecting all field offices will be on e-file model. And that is what you said, what are you planning next? That is one very important thing we are planning. It would be a paradigm shift. I can say it with assurance. Every single UT and state is still into that level of implementing it 100%. But we have almost 100% implemented it, except for few security and confidential files, which are going by hand. Otherwise, everything absolutely is on e-file model. And alongside, what we are planning in the coming days is to completely tap the services, take MPLS technology to the ground level, all blocks, all panchayats, all villages. And yes, I agree with almost all the panelists which are talking, my friends, whether in UP or Rajasthan or Abhishek is a very good friend. He has been doing so many innovative things. So I mean to say, everywhere innovation is happening. I fully endorse this point. My thrust would be to take, like me Seva you are talking, I want to take that model to the doorstep of the citizen. There should be a proactive thing automatically happening, like Mr. Chaubey is saying. Why should a person hang out to get things? It should automatically appear on the dashboard screen, and the people should get services just when actually they are to be. And yes, the models which Abhishek just talked, like helping people through simple mobile phones, through those services, without usage of even internet and all those, through call centers and all, we can reach out to public and we can help their cause. So this is going to the level next for J&K e-governance agency. And as its CEO, through your medium, it's a big platform you guys are offering to us. So I would request through your medium, because I'm now directly handling, earlier in the conferences, I was handling technology, but the other ways, but now I am directly handling it. So I request all the top players to come to us. I would welcome them with a red carpet in J&K, and we are going to take technology to level next, to the last mile user in a big way. Whatever best ways you can contribute, everybody is welcome through your ET platform, everybody's platform, anywhere people are welcome to J&K, and we will definitely support good initiatives here.
Right. I'll come back to you again. I'll go to Ms. Kabita Roy Das. Ms. Das, earlier you mentioned about a workflow platform of NIC, and you, in a very elaborate way, focused on different features and benefit of that platform. Would you like to share what next for NIC in Odisha? What kind of work are you doing right now?
Odisha has taken one good project. This is called Odisha One, where in a single platform, all the citizen-centric services will be delivered. And already around 100 services are being developed, and it will be SSO integrated. So from Service Plus also, we have already around for 11 departments, we have developed this 54 services for Odisha, and we are thinking about some future expansion about Service Plus. Actually, all the panelists, they have actually worried about the rural this infrastructure problem in our rural area, this offline mode. So recently, Service Plus have added features to work in offline mode, and then syncing with servers to support occasionally disconnected architecture, so that rural users can get a better experience. Then we are also exploring in intuitive UI design, so that whatever data we are collecting, we can have an intuitive decision, and we can culturally influence the design elements also through intuitive experiences. Suppose in location-based some UI designing, then some
Right.
caste-based application requirements also. So and
Right.
also regarding this whatever Santulan Chaudhary has told about that, so that once the birth certificate is designed, then one can deliver a caste certificate also. So Odisha has already thinking about this, and we are in high school level. Actually, we are all the students on 10th or 12th classes. We are planning to give the caste certificate and income certificate on the basis of their parents' income, etc. So we are going to go ahead with all this certificate in one go, so that whatever
Right.
needed student or whatever needed for a citizen, it can be generated in one go, and it can be um, stored in the DigiLocker also. So these are
Right.
all some of the initiative from Odisha government, and also we are partner of it
Right.
for giving the solution for the Odisha government. And yes, we are going for this pollinating technologies like robotic process automation, RPA, AI/ML, IoT with workflow automation. These are also one of our future experiments will be there for Service Plus and all other service delivery systems. So
Right.
these are
Right.
whatever we are
Absolutely.
thinking
Now,
about.
before
Thank you.
Dr. Roy, I'll come to you. I'll go to Mr. Akhilesh Mittal. Mr. Mittal, you heard Ms. Kabita Roy and others speaking, talking about as to what they are planning in future. Mr. Sharma actually in detail mentioned his ambition of actually taking e-governance services to across the state up to the Gram Panchayat level in Jammu and Kashmir, despite having a different topography altogether. Would you like to share in Rajasthan what kind of new thing you are planning?
New things like we are extending the bandwidth to the block level or Gram Panchayat level. We are doing that in plan. Secondly, we are having the eMitra Plus machine sustainable system. eMitra Plus machine are cell-driven system where we have more than 300 types of services can be provide are available. Like they can print their certificate, they can make their bill payments of all kind like electricity, water bill, etc. All kind of prepaid, postpaid, all related services. Like I have mentioned earlier that 300 department services are interlinked with that. So those are all are available on that platform. Secondly, we are holding VC through this eMitra Plus machines through down the line addressing and two-way communications also. So that is available. And another thing is maximum service we are providing. We are coming up with the online kind of concept, and we are linking with the Jan Aadhaar. Then in Rajasthan we have Aadhaar also, and we have created another concept called Jan Aadhaar. Earlier it was known as Bhamasha card. Now it is being
Right.
named as a Jan Aadhaar. So we are connecting with that. So and in using this AI technology, we are coming up with this all kind of social security services to be paid automatically instead of citizen address or citizen visit the locations and file the application. We are having the concept called automated system and auto debit system kind of thing. In DBT, Rajasthan is a pioneer. You might be knowing that in data automatically funding transfers or all kind of rations related and this thing. We are pioneer on that PDS services also. And beside that, we have another kind of setup called command control centers. So by using the setup of cameras and all, we are all districts are being connected through center servers or district servers, and we are monitoring the all kind of crime related activities, theft related activities through this CCTV based function. And we are adding more cameras on it to, or we are also planning to integrate the existing cameras of local colonies, local police or some all kind of thing that is being under plan. So that is my side.
Dr. Roy, I'll come to you now. what we heard from Mr. Akhilesh Mittal and Ms. Kabita Roy Das, and something that you spoke earlier, those were around like creating a very innovative platform of such as which is highly automated, easy to use by a general citizen as well, like WhatsApp chatbot and all. So in that way, I mean, a lot of innovation has happened and with a huge success rate. I would like to understand from you what next for e-governance in West Bengal. What kind of new thing that you are working on? Because what we realize that for most of the government organization, even for the private organization, uh, the next IT services or IT project is not only going to be a kind of simple project. It has to be highly resilient. It should be ready in a way if tomorrow's pandemic like things come, it should allow you to mitigate those challenges quite easily on the go, right? So would you like to share something that you are working on currently, Dr. Roy?
Before I start with the new innovative works, I would like to address that West Bengal has done e-office across all the districts. Only file to this HCM madam goes in a physical mode, otherwise everything is e-office. And e-district, we have 160 plus services, and not only the services, we have more than 1.5 lakh transactions happening on our e-district platform every month. It's one of the most successful e-district services in the country. With regards to the new and innovative services, as Santulan sir was saying, we have already started the predictive governance, which I call for this innovative things. So we have already started a blockchain-based birth certificate application in New Town, New Kolkata, and in Kolkata Municipal Corporation also. The idea is here is that the moment a child is born, the hospitals are supposed to upload the data in our portal. From the hospital data we get the child details and the parents details also. From the parents detail we get their social status, their caste and other things. That data, when it comes to the this municipality, is being converted to blockchain. Then after that, when someone requests for a birth certificate, their only birth certificate is generated. And the idea here is that when they get admission in the schools will just take a permission from us in the blockchain node, and they'll just enter, verify the data, and enter that this or that child has been admitted into the school. This is as of now we are doing, and the plan is that over a period of time, when the kid will continue his studies, 10th, 12th, engineering, all the data will be there. And suppose whenever I apply for any application or any position, it will just be a real-time interaction, whether Abhishek Roy is an engineer or not, whether I'm a first class or not, and based on that, decisions will be taken in real time. This is the intent, and the plan is that the way Santola sir was saying, predictive governance. We have our flagship project of Kanyasri, so where their girl child gets a scholarship. The moment they come into that age bracket where they are eligible, we'll send an SMS to them. Okay, you are eligible for Kanyasri. Would you like to apply? And based on that, if they are supposed to update their bank details, they'll get the money into their account. No need of all those formalities and all. Plus, we're also working on know your entitlements, because most of the people don't know what all services or schemes they're applicable for. This is what we are planning to bring in a WhatsApp chatbot, where a person will give his profile and will tell them, okay, these applications you are eligible for. Now coming down to this pandemic again, we started one this for non-COVID patients. COVID was a big problem, but because of COVID, many other regular alimentous patient like blood pressure or heart disease, these people were not getting proper care because of the fear, because of the non-available doctors. So we launched one platform called janupcha.com, wherein all big doctors were brought in, and a real-time video consultation was being done, and a real-time prescription was being given to them. So now we have started with a voice-based e-prescription. So wherein a doctor speaks and prescription is generated automatically. This is we are running successfully in medical hospital in Kolkata for oncology department. We did a pilot in gastroenterology in SSKM, where nowadays doctors are speaking and the prescription is being generated online. The purpose of this e-prescription is not only the giving them a faster and printed prescription. The purpose is to keep that data. So the moment I have the data in the structured format, accordingly, we'll add it to the store, drug store and other things, where if the particular medicine is not available, uh, alert, AI alert will come down to state that this data medicine is not available in the store, so the doctor can change it immediately. And then definitely we are having the entire database, so other past histories and health records will be captured. Further, we want to basically queue the other modes. For example, the doctors prescribed X-ray and blood and other things. So based on that data, we know that 20 people have been asked for a TCDC blood test, or 550 people have been asked for X-ray PH, chest PAVU. So based on that, that data will be available to those systems. Will queue it down using those things.
Right.
And this generic medicine concept, which basically we have been telling the doctors to write generic medicines, but most of the time they don't write, they write the other name of the medicines. That has been mandated with this e-prescription thing.
Absolutely, these are wonderful efforts. I think even Mr. Akhilesh Mittal would recall, even the Rajasthan government actually implemented an IVR system wherein they will reach out to the pensioner rather than they are coming, and they will try to validate based on their voice. So all those very innovative workflow innovation experiment has happened in the country. Now I'll move to Mr. Venugopal. Mr. Venugopal, what we understand in workflow management: agility, flexibility, and security. These are three very important and integral component, which has become a key consideration for all types of organization, whether you are government, whether you are private, or any type of organization, even a startup. Can you share what all ServiceNow is doing for digitization in public sector?
Amazing insights, and the amount of innovation that I keep hearing is phenomenal here. One of the areas as an outcome of these key parameters that you mentioned about agility and rest of them is about how do we make systems which are what we call it a ESG compliant, right? Environment friendly. And that's what I think Amit Sharma also mentioned about contactless, and Abhishek also mentioned about connecting them, about environment conscious, and bringing the kind of social responsibility in whatever we do, and not do just for something purpose. And how do we not misuse certain aspects of the information that we have, because we have a social responsibility to the citizens. And that's where the governance plays a very important role, that are we doing the things as intended to be done. So what is that all required? While we are building all these mammoth creations out of us, is risk embedded in whatever we are doing, because there is a trail that is we are leaving behind for every transaction we do in the digital footprint. And hence the risk media is related to a policy, related to it could be related to a financial regulator, a health regulator, or any of the regulations there are multiple regulations. Because when you hear the speakers talking about, we are talking about data sources from different departments, and each of the department have a regulatory body associated with it. And when we are sourcing data from this and creating a new behavior and predicting those behaviors, there is a regulation risk associated with that. Unless there is an automated risk management, embedded risk management system associated within the platform, there is going to be some kind of manual interventions which is subject to audit prerogative. So it is important that any of these conversation that is happening within the connected enterprise, is the risk embedded, or the risk regulatory associated bodies of the risk policies being ensured and compliant. And last but not the least, whatever we do, velocity is an important parameter, that we act fast. Experience is another important parameter, which provides the generations of multiple generations of people involved. Last but not the least, you talked about a lot with regard to intelligence. You can name it AI, ML, and many other processes, but bringing all of these together is what makes the platform much more robust and resilient.
I think we have completely exhausted our time, and we are almost touching 1 hour. So uh, I say thank you to all of you for being such a wonderful panelist and sharing your views on citizen-centric services, and as to how you are using technology in various government organizations in your state for providing a delightful public service delivery experience for the people. Thank you once again on behalf of ServiceNow and ET Government for being such a wonderful panelist. Thank you so much.
An indeed powerful learning session it was. Thank you, panelists, for being with us. We will now take a quick short break. Stay tuned for more such sessions. We will be right back.